Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. My name is Abdullah Afzal. I'm an actor and comedian, and I'm delighted to be your host for today's MACFEST 2022 opening ceremony. I've done this for a couple of years. It's an absolute pleasure to be doing it again this year. Now, I will be introducing all the speakers and the entertainment that we have in store for you today. And you can watch our live streaming and take part in our live chat on the MACFEST Facebook page. And please, please, please do remember to share news about the festival on social media using the hashtag #SpreadHoney, Now, to kick off today's events, we will be introducing, inshallah, a young boy from Leadership Academy, it's Eden Boys Leadership Academy, a school I work closely with. This child is in year 8, and he will be reciting a passage from the Quran, Surah Fatiha, followed by Gibran and Sufyan Ilahi, who will be doing a nasheed. The recitator's name is Akif Faisal, and on the drums for the nasheed is Ibrahim Ahmed. Again, they're from Star Leadership of Eden Boys. Okay, so we look forward to watching them now. So if you could take it away, Akif Faisal.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. صلي وسلم دائما ابدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صلي وسلم دائما ابدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من أرض ومن جميل مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم.
Fantastic. Thank you to Eden Boys Manchester for introducing us to such talent, and thank you for them for taking part as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to launch MACFEST 2022, their opening ceremony, we'd like to share a video with you, a flavor of what's to come. Wow, beautiful video there. Made me want to jump on a plane and travel the world again like I've done before. Unfortunately, unable to do at the moment, but a beautiful video, really well put together, reminding us of the rich history that Muslims have as well around the world and in the arts especially. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my first guest speaker and guest for MACFEST opening ceremony 2022 is Diane Hawkins, our High Sheriff of Greater Manchester and a huge supporter of MACFEST. Diane has lived in Greater Manchester all her life. She's one of our own. She was educated at Withington Girls' School. Diane is now the governor of the school as well, which is an incredible thing to be able to do, to go back to where it all started. She's a solicitor by profession. Diane specialized in litigation on behalf of those suffering from asbestos-related diseases. And as a Queen's Guide, Diane has had roles, various roles in scouting. And in 2014, she was appointed chairman of Bolton Scout Trust. Diane was commissioned as a Deputy Lieutenant of Greater Manchester in 2008 as High Sheriff of Greater Manchester. Has had a wonderful year meeting people and organizations all over Greater Manchester. And we are delighted, absolutely delighted, that she is able to join us today. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you very much indeed, Abdullah, and good morning and salam, everyone. It is such a great pleasure to be here with you at the start of this year's wonderful programme of events. Last year, at the start of my year in office, I first met you all and met Kesra for the first time, and I have been delighted to take part in a number of events through the year. I am sad that they've all been online so far, and I'm really hoping to join you in person at some point this year. That would be just so wonderful. Thank you to the Eden Boys Academy. That was just amazing, and it was so close to home for me living in Bolton, so it was lovely to see you. And what a wonderful welcome video with a joyful insight into the entire programme that we have ahead of us this year. I've forgotten how many pages that programme runs to when you actually look at it in paper, but it is many, many pages. And last year I joined a number of events, as I've said, and I learned so much. It is so impressive how we can encourage diversity and welcome our differences and our similarities between us by looking at the culture that we share and that we can learn from everybody else. And it really is wonderful that Kesra conceived this idea 4 or 5 years ago and has driven it through by sheer determination and wonderful support of so many volunteers. And MACFEST was indeed a really worthy winner of the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service last year, and they thoroughly deserve to have that. Their volunteers are magnificent, and it is wonderful to see some of the same faces again today and new ones as well. So without further ado, I want to launch today's or this year's programme of events, and starting off with today, please do all enjoy the next hour or so. I think we've got a fantastic programme simply today, and there's the promise of so much more to come. Thank you all for welcoming me and inviting me here today. So enjoy, everyone.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much.
For Britain's best new building will be announced next week. The shortlist includes a footbridge in the southwest of England, a boat museum in the Lake District, and a university building in southwest London. Over the coming few days, we're going to look at each of the 6 buildings on the shortlist. Today, it's the Cambridge Central Mosque, which features geometric columns, timber trees, which form the structural support for the roof.
When you enter this space, it feels very other and hopefully uplifting. I don't think as architects we can hope for anything more than that, really. My name is Julia Barfield. I'm one of the co-founders of Barks Barfield Architects, and we are the architects of the Cambridge Central Mosque. We hadn't designed a mosque before, so of course we did a lot of research to find out about mosque design throughout the world. And what we discovered was that historically and globally, mosques generally took on the character of the place that they were in and the time they were in. So what should a British mosque of the 20th century be like? David, my partner, was the one who came up with this idea of the glade of trees and the garden of paradise. trees in this glade of trees became these structural trees. This is an entirely timber structural building. Timber is beautiful, it's very sustainable, but also it's got that connection with nature, which is in Islam very important. That's also one of the kind of features of this place, is that you naturally somehow look up, which seems appropriate for a sacred space.
It's a space that's used by the whole community, not just the Muslim community. The idea is that the mosque is not just a place for worship. It's so lovely to see. There's that sense of pride and ownership from not just Muslims in Cambridge, but also the wider community too. You're sort of met with this immediate calm and sense of peace. And it's something that visitors get to experience once or twice if they visit, but something I get to experience every day. So it's just phenomenal.
We've kept the energy usage down as much as possible, as well as trying to address embodied carbon in the choice of materials. All the rainwater is captured. It's used to flush the toilets and also to help water the garden. In a sense, we were trying to kind of combine the English sacred architecture with Islamic traditions.
We wanted to construct something that was a symbol of hope, that this difference is not just about problems of integration, but is about the inherent interest of bringing together different narratives, different civilizations, different ethnicities, languages, cultural communities. It's a kind of celebration of the very central contribution that Islam brings to the rainbow diversity that is what makes modern Britain so fascinating.
Muslim Islamic culture, it has been part of British culture for so long, and I hope this building reaffirms that. It brings the two together.
One of the contenders for the Reba Sterling Prize. We'll have more on that later, and for viewers in the UK, there will be live coverage of the awards ceremony here on the BBC News Channel on the 14th of October.
So just an introduction for what that video was. Of course, that was a video from the BBC, which was showing us the beauty and the grandeur of the Cambridge Central Mosque. It was shortlisted for the Royal Institute of British Architects in 2021. What a beautiful building it is. And of course, you can visit that at any time if you are in Cambridge at any point. Now, next, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to welcome Councillor Rabnawaz Akbar, who represents Rusholme Ward in Manchester and is an executive member for neighbourhoods. As one of the MACFEST directors, I'd like to invite him to say a few words.
Thank you, Abdullah. Hi, Sheriff, Lord Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whichever time zone you are in across the world. And I know there are people from all across the world watching in. As a director, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you to the 4th MACFEST. And considering we've had to live with a pandemic over the last couple of years, that is a phenomenal achievement by Kezra and her team. Now, when Kezra came to see me in the town hall about 5 years ago, she not only wanted to celebrate the diversity and the culture of Muslim heritage, but to also bring Muslim and non-Muslim communities together to promote social inclusion and overcome barriers. Now, in some ways, it is fitting that the launch of MACFEST 2022 is in the same week as the launch of Hate Crime Awareness Week here in Greater Manchester. One way of reducing hate crime incidents is to celebrate the diversity of our communities. A recent survey carried out by YouGov and led by the University of Birmingham says people from middle and upper class occupational groups are more likely to hold prejudicial views of Islam than people from working class occupational groups. Other key notable findings in the survey were that Muslims are the UK's second least liked group after Gypsy and Irish travellers. 25.9% of the British public feel negative towards Islam, with 9.9% feeling very negative. That is nearly 1 in 10. Only Gypsy and Irish travellers are viewed more negatively by the British public, with 44.6% of people viewing this group negatively. Support for prohibiting all Muslim migration to the UK is 4 to 6% higher for Muslims than it is for other ethnic and religious groups. The British public is almost 3 times more likely to hold prejudicial views of Islam than they are of other religions. And British people are more confident in making judgments about Islam than any other non-Christian religion, but are more likely to make incorrect assumptions about it. Unfortunately, very uncomfortable findings to listen to. Hence, although MACFEST is about celebrating and enjoying, it also serves a serious objective. I think we will all agree that there has never been a greater need for MACFEST and other festivals similarly, because barriers are still too high and much work still has to be done. So heartfelt congratulations to Kezra and the team. Thank you to all attending, speaking and performing today. And please attend as many events as you possibly can yourself. But I think what is more important is request your family, your friends and colleagues to do so as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rabnawaz Akbar. Pleasure to have you here once again this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, normally MACFEST hosts live exhibitions of artwork, but just because we're virtual today doesn't mean that we aren't thrilled to showcase the work of artists taking part of the festival. This year, we share the work of several women artists we are showcasing as part of Muslim Women Arts Festival. Kirsa will explain more about this later on in the program. But it's with great pleasure that we invite you instead to our virtual art exhibition feast. That's right, all virtual this year, even the art. We hope you enjoy it, and do let us know your thoughts through social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you are with your social media and live streaming online today. Please do use the hashtag MACFEST, and of course, not to forget the hashtag spread honey, not hate. So this is the first piece of art we could see in front of us here. It's always incredible. Of course, art is a universal language, and people can take different things from different pieces of art. But yes, this is of course by Akif FaisalWelcome, I believe it's pronounced. Apologies if that's incorrect. But yeah, a great piece there, which can mean different things to different people, I guess, depending on your point of view. And then we got there a piece of art from Aisha Yilmaz, I think. Incredible. Oh, wow. Everyone sees something different in art, don't they? Oh. And then we got Asma Jitakara Desai as well. That piece of art there. Beautiful there again from Shifa Ashraf. I just don't understand how people are able to do something like this. So beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Natalia Stefurak. Look at that. That could easily be a photograph, couldn't it? Incredible. Sometimes when it comes to art, it comes across as the person's view on the world. And I tell you what, I'd love to see the world through her eyes. Look at that. Incredible, stunning art, stunning colors. Beautiful. Wow. And Hannah Ihsan. Wow, that is incredible, isn't it? The details in that mountain. Unbelievable. Wow. Please do share your thoughts on the art as well in the chat, of course, on social media. Let them know what you thought of it. Farzana Patel here with something, well, it's quite unique. Almost looks like a lion and a cup there. I believe that's calligraphy. Wow, unbelievable. How do you even come up with that concept? It's mind-blowing. Farzana Patel there, and then we have Farhat Javid with some beautiful pieces of art as well. Like we say, art is always from the perspective of the artist, and we all have to come up with our own subjective views on what it means. That's the best thing about art, isn't it? Freedom of expression from the artist. Lovely. Okay, so that seems to be, I believe, the last piece of art that we have there. If you enjoy that, you can catch more from them in March in the Muslim Women's Arts Festival. But without further ado, we'd like to welcome our next very esteemed guest. Of course, it's our Lord Mayor of Manchester, Councillor Tommy Judge, who joined us last year too. I do remember that. We are delighted he's here for the opening ceremony. Good afternoon, Councillor Tommy Judge, Lord Mayor of Manchester.
I'm still getting used to this mute button thing, but
yeah,
it's great to be with you once again this year. Good afternoon, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to attend the online official opening of MACFEST, which is celebrating the arts and culture of the Muslim communities. I'm very proud to live in such a diverse and multicultural city as Manchester, where we are committed to working together cohesively and with mutual respect. In 2021, MACFEST was awarded the Queen's Award for Voluntary Services, and I was delighted to meet Kezra, Barbara and Steve from MACFEST at an afternoon tea the Lady Mayoress and I hosted for the winners. MACFEST shows that Islamic communities are not just alive, but are rich with culture. And this online platform is a perfect opportunity to bring everyone together to learn about and celebrate the experience of the culture of others. There are over 75 events taking place throughout the festival. And I hope that you all get the opportunity to experience some of these. I would like to thank the organisers for all their hard work, for pulling this programme together, for what I am sure will be a very successful festival. Have a great time, and thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. Thank you so much for being here again and speaking to all of our viewers here today at the opening ceremony. Now, we are moving on, hopefully, to a celebration of art again, but this is the art of photography. This is with Steve Wharton, who celebrates through images and his narrative, his experience of life in Xianying, I think it's pronounced, in China several years ago. Thank you, Steve, for your amazing photography in documenting the lives of the Uyghur people as well. We please like to have a look at some of the photography. I believe there is some photos available now to see.
From a journey to Xinjiang in the early summer of 2011. I was working as an English teacher at a middle school in Dushanze. This small oil refinery town on the northern side of the Tianshan range of mountains proved to be a place of dichotomies. Some were less obvious than others. Rising out of the town's arid ground, a five-star hotel provided the first obvious contrast. Built primarily for visiting engineers and businessmen, this was the most modern building in Dushanze, which in turn is the jewel in the crown of China's oil industry. And yet the hotel was called the Maitak, which is the name of the town in the language of the people who lived there before oil was big business, the language of the Uyghurs. The town provided a sanitized microcosm of the issues facing Xinjiang, and it was ours to enjoy, except for the tantalizing road south towards the beautiful Tianshan Mountains. This road was most definitely off limits, due to a military base, so we were told. During this journey from Dushanze, I travelled by train from Urumqi to Kashgar, 25 hours on hard wooden seats in a carriage with broken fans. The Christmas decorations were a cruel taunt in the summer heat, but it was the start of a glimpse of a part of the world that was changing. A region fabled in tales from the Silk Road, yet mostly forgotten in modern times. A silenced workforce producing raw materials and products which China profits from financially and in terms of the influence it wields over the rest of the world's economies. The streets of Kashgar buzzed with the determination of a culture trying to keep its head held high whilst its ancient buildings were being flattened. Heading south along the Karakoram highway, the seeds of tourism had been planted in this wild west. Roadside shacks will eventually become franchised coffee shops. Bazaars will still run, but as day tripper diversions. The majestic Tianshan is now promoted as a snowboarding heaven. Further still to the southwest is Tashkurgan, a lonely outpost, mostly peopled by the mountain Tajiks. A vast boardwalk was being constructed on the grasslands by the Tashkurgan River. The next flood, though, was more likely to be domestic tourists than a deluge of water. In 2011, there were still families grazing their animals on the grassland, a sea of green dotted with white yurts. While some would be welcoming of the cash injection from visitors, many were wary of the increasing police and military presence and were looking towards the border. From Tashkurgan, it's possible to travel into the Wakhan corridor, the gateway to Afghanistan. the chance of a new life perhaps. But is it possible for any culture to survive across a border, severed from the landscape and language which defined it? Therein lay another dichotomy.
Wow. Thank you for that, Steve. Really beautiful pictures. You know, pictures is worth 1,000 words. That was really incredible. Thank you for that. And tying in with that fantastic photography and storytelling, we'll welcome to our next guest, Aziz Isa Elkun. He's joining us from London. Aziz is a Uyghur poet, activist who joined us 2 years ago as well. I remember that. We are delighted he's sharing his powerful poem with us. Welcome, Aziz.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. And I'm very pleased to be part of this festival. And it's not my first year. I think it's my 3rd year. And I'm very grateful to be part of this British Muslim cultural and art celebration. And I'm very moved to see these photographs from my homeland. That's where I was born. And in the history or Victorian time, it's called the became part of the great game in Central Asia. It's very mass landscape, which Uyghurs are one of the main inhabitants of that land, and Uyghurs became Muslim since 10th century and created very rich Islamic culture and civilization. Maybe many of you are here the Kashgar, like Urumqi, and the many cities there, and its landmass is bigger than the Western Europe. And it has more than, as said, in the west, the Wakhan corridor with Afghanistan and Pakistan, which is Uyghurs' homeland. We historically call East Turkestan or Uyghurstan. Chinese occupied that region in 1949 and renamed that whole region Xinjiang, which is new territory or new land, and given at the end 1955 Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, like Tibet, but never implemented. Instead of that, implementing. Since 2017, they built mass concentration camps, which is largest since Second World War, and interment around 3, 5, 7. We don't know how many millions of Uyghurs. I lost all my connection with my family members since 2017. Even until now, I don't know are my relatives, my people, even my without elderly mothers alive or no information. I've been begging from the British government, at least that's my fundamental human rights to able to know as a British citizen, know my family members, what's happening there. But still, some are not getting there, and the China's doing whatever they like.
Yeah.
So this is a humanitarian crisis. Now I will stop now giving me such an opportunity. Now I'm going to share one of my poem dedicated to innocent Uyghurs who were arrested and detained in Chinese 21st century concentration camp since 2017. The title of my poem is Roses. It's a morning bright with sun. Another new day has started. I count all together 22 autumns, and winters have passed in exile. And I don't know how many years remain before I return to the place where I belong. To the earth that my forefathers made home, I can feel the sorrow in myself. My soul shivers, it's cold. I inherited it from my fathers. Whenever the memory of the disappeared homeland returns and occupies my mind, it inspires me to be human with dignity, able to call for the survival of a lost nation, able to appeal for mercy and love from the world again and again. The place where I was born has turned into a heap of ghostly relics. It only exists among the non-existence in this world full of selfishness. I am sitting in a garden chair, trying to enjoy the warm sun for a minute, but it's quickly covered by the rushing clouds. A steaming cup of coffee evaporates my gloom. I'm still struggling to feel myself, believing that the better days will come after tomorrow. One day, life will smile on us. Even on the man who writes these lines, although he has lost everything, traveling on the road of no return and lived in a second life. He is still a hostage to that place. He lives with constant fear. The monster has left countless stains. It has pierced me with needles. But still I can call for justice for those who have suffered more. But my spirit is still fighting. My hope is still alive. Each time I find a new courage, it brings me the joy of a smile. Although it's autumn, my garden leaves still green. The first rose I planted 3 years ago to mark my father's destroyed grave. The second rose I planted on Mother's Day last year. And the third rose I planted for the unknown Uyghurs who survived inside the camps. My roses are blossoming with hope, singing a song for freedom. Without waiting for the spring, they remind us how beautiful it is to be alive, to live in peace in our beautiful world. Thank you so much for your patience and listening to it. I wrote this poem last year in autumn. I was in my garden. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aziz. Very powerful poem there, highlighting a very important issue, a very important issue that's taking place at the moment, and we do need more awareness on that. So thank you very much for sharing with us your insight. Appreciate that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome another poet, Marie Kenfak. Marie is a Muslim revert originally from Cameroon, and we are delighted that Marie will share one of her wonderful poems as well. Welcome, Marie.
Hi, assalamu alaikum. Greetings to everybody. Thanks for this opportunity. This poem is about life in general, because we learn as we go. So it's like a letter to my future self and, our future selves. Life has been a roller coaster of emotions and events. I learned a lot throughout. Carry things forward and make the most of these lessons. Happiness and sadness are a state of mind. The way you react to life events will dictate your emotional well-being. Remember to relax and not overreact. Don't take things too seriously or you will drive yourself crazy. When you're upset, take a deep breath before you speak. Listen more and speak less. That's the way of the wise. Keep striving to achieve your goals and don't let anyone put you down. Surround yourself with like-minded people and people who want you to succeed. Most of all, stay in tune with your body. It will tell you how to take care of it and will serve you well in return. I wish you all the best and all the happiness you deserve. Now, we don't have much time, But for the children audience, I wrote a little piece that was inspired by my daughter. She wrote a little poem entitled Mr. Burger the Burglar. So I wrote something else, to encourage people in general to do with what we have, instead of stealing. And it goes this way. The title is No Money, No Worry. My name is Lori. I have no money. I feel a bit hungry. I fancy some curry. I have some veggie I can cook in a hurry. No money, no worry. I can still fill my tummy. I have some steel. No need to steal. Lots of heat, lots of beat. I can shape it real quick. The pan is ready. I can make my curry. No money, no worry. My tummy is happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marie. Beautifully done. I hope there were some children that listened to that poem, inshallah. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to introduce the woman herself, the brains behind the whole operation that is MACFEST. Please welcome our founder, curator, our executive director of MACFEST, Kesra Shiraz, MBE.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are sitting around the world. And a very warm welcome to our chief guest, our High Sheriff of Greater Manchester, Diane. Thank you so much for joining us. All our distinguished guests, partners, sponsors, and of course you, the attendees, who are keeping us busy with your lovely chat. We are delighted, of course, to have Abdullah join us again for another fab hosting. Thank you, Abdullah, a very famous comedian and actor, of those of you who don't know who he is. It gives me, our board of directors, advisors, and team members enormous pleasure to host this fourth festival, and as has been said, with over 75 events from February to September, hosted in Manchester and nationally in Bury, Bolton, Stockport, Dewsbury, Sheffield, Rochdale, as well as around the world in Indonesia, Algeria, Pakistan, the Emirates, Sudan, and the USA. This year, we have themed the festival by the month. Youth Festival in February, Women in March, Ramadan in April, Eid in May, African Heritage Festival in July, and Arab Festival in September. We also have special news to announce, as Abdullah mentioned. In May 2021, we set up a Muslim Women's Arts Foundation. It's a sister company of MACFEST. This new initiative has come out of my personal passion to support women, in particular to provide a special platform for Muslim women in the creative industry to showcase the talent of the established as well as those unsung heroines around the world. Our mission is to debunk negative stereotypes about Muslim women that are still peddled around the world. Our slogan is celebrating and elevating Muslim women. Hosted live, so those of you who want to join us live, we have this opportunity in Manchester on 5th of March at the Whitworth Art Gallery. We will showcase women artists and performers from the Northwest as well as from around the world for 2 weeks. Of course, for MACFEST, our MACFEST slogan is, as you remember, spread honey, not hate. Our passionate commitment remains to break barriers, unite communities, and to come together under one roof, as we're doing today in this webinar. We continue to value our existing partners and we welcome new ones, including Colourful Heritage in Scotland, who have joined us today. MACFEST has gone from strength to strength, mashallah, and we are proud that we have won 3 awards last year, including the Queen's Award for MACFEST Outstanding Work. Our team is strong, skilled, and diverse as ever, Muslim and non-Muslim, and we are proud of engaging many nationalities who are the face of MACFEST. We are delighted and continue to host many non-Muslims as moderators, special guests, and drawn from many institutions and places. I want to thank MACFEST sponsors, the funders, the board of directors, the advisors for their support, my family, our wonderful partners who are hosting MACFEST events, including in other towns, and of course, our amazing MACFEST team, without whom I could not plan or deliver this festival. Each year, we invite one country to host a full MACFEST. Last year, it was Azerbaijan, offering us a brilliant art and culture feast from Baku. This year, ladies and gentlemen, the country of honor is Indonesia, and we have some Indonesian joining us from Jakarta today. To give you a flavor of what is to come, on Sunday, the 27th of March, we take you to Indonesia for a couple of minutes. Steve, could you play the video, please? Enjoy.
Wow. Thank you, Iwan, Anna, who has made this video, the Indonesian team, who are obviously very, very busy at the moment, preparing an incredible art and culture feast for us for the future, inshallah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to meet some of our wonderful international speakers and artists from around the world who are featured in our Festival 2022. Please play the video.
Hello, my name is Kübra Gümüşay. I am from Germany, currently based in the UK, and I will join you in March for the Muslim Women's Arts Festival.
Salam, my name is Idil Abdullahi. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I'll be joining you in March for the Muslim Women's Arts Festival.
Hello, this is Inja Shazli from Egypt. I'll join you in March for the Muslim Women's Arts Festival.
Hello and Assalamualaikum from Indonesia. My name is Iwan. I'll be hosting MACFEST Indonesia Festival 2022 on the 27th of March. Join and enjoy the event.
Hello everyone, this is Celia Eitmishdel, a Berber from Algeria. Meet me on April, inshallah, for Ramadan MACFEST. See you soon.
Greetings from International Islamic University, Malaysia. I am Mahmoudul Hassan. In MACFEST 2022, I shall be discussing two amazing Muslim women, Atia Faizi from British India and Zainab Hanum from Turkey. In the early 20th century, they were in London and commented on British society. I shall be telling you about harems in London, Scotland Yard, and the tight dress of the singer Clara Butt. Stay tuned, I'll see you in July.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Babir Ahmed from Washington, D.C. And on June 12th, you'll be seeing a film I worked on called Tikun Ulam. The film won 8 Best Short Film Awards in 2021. And the story is about a young boy who brings hope and dignity to a homeless veteran in Washington, D.C. And the story was inspired by my own experiences of what I observed in Washington, D.C. So I hope that you'll watch it and that you'll enjoy it. Bye.
Wow, thank you very much for that, our international guests and artists around the world. MashaAllah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us next is the Labour MP for Gorton in Manchester. He's currently Shadow Deputy Leader of the House of Commons. We'd like to welcome a staunch supporter of MACFEST from the outset. It is Afzal Khan, CBE.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Abdullah Afzal, well, big thank you to you, first of all. Good to see you, looking good. And thank you for host chairing this session and taking us through various different parts. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank, of course, Kasra Ban and the whole team. You know, I always do my best to join your events. And I wasn't thinking of speaking today at all. I thought I'm just enjoying it. And here you are, you put me on the spot. But what I do want to say is, you know, like always, MACFEST is doing an incredible job and a very important job, I would say. We're just coming out of COVID-19 and, you know, we've all felt the real importance of human connection. And in that sense, you know, while these difficult periods will come through, or we are coming through, but what is also clear is that the world we live in is so connected with one another, and we have so much means these days to connect. And it's wonderful to see MACFEST again connecting us up in this manner. A couple of things which have struck me of today's program, of course, one is the Cambridge Mosque. Amazing. I've been there when we did a Islamophobia Awareness Month launch. We launched it from that mosque. It's absolutely beautiful mosque. A great deal of thought has gone into it as well. And it certainly is worth visiting. So again, I will put that plug in for the mosque. That is certainly a place where we should try to go and visit and see how they managed to marry these different aspects, including the environmental challenges that we are facing in that mosque. The second big thing, I suppose, we had Brother Aziz, the poet from Uyghur. That is another big one, which has been around, something which has been close to my heart from when I was a member of European Parliament, and even now as a member of Parliament. This suffering of the Uyghur people, the persecution that is taking place. And in fact, recently there was a whole independent tribunal which took evidence on this subject. And they concluded that genocide is taking place. Now, this is very, very serious. You know, when you have a genocide taking place, we saw in the Second World War what happened and how the world came together and said, never again. But we know there's been many others after that. And in this one, and before our eyes is happening. So we have a responsibility to highlight this issue. This week on Thursday, I was there at Piccadilly Circus where the Uyghur community, the Tibet community, the Hong Kongers all came together. Basically, these are the various groups who are being persecuted. You know, you find it shocking that in the 21st century, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, or Buddhist, rather that you've been persecuted because of your faith. And that's clearly is not acceptable. So thank you to MACFEST that, you know, not only you are enriching us with the cultural heritages that's around there, but very real today's challenges, which is also important. So thank you for that. You will always have my support because I think Kasra has been doing incredible work. She's got an incredible team together. You know, 70 plus different events. It's not a small thing. It's an amazing contribution. You are enriching thousands of people's lives. So a big thank you from myself to you all. Thank you again, Abdullah.
Thank you very much, Afzal Khan, a real champion of the people, giving a voice to the minorities especially. Always grateful to hear from you, Uncle Afzal. Right, ladies and gentlemen, now on to another celebration of cultural heritage from Sarah Adil. She's a Muslim revert and cultural researcher from Liverpool. She'll be taking us on an enchanting journey to uncover some of the most beautiful gardens from the Muslim world. Thank you, Sarah.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you everyone for joining today. I'm going to share with you a selection of beautiful Islamic gardens, which are wonderful examples of perennial symbolism, one that's universal in nature. Integral to these gardens are shade and water, and at the heart of the designs, they embody a spiritual vision that is of Jannatul Firdaus. In the Quran, there are over 120 references to gardens of paradise, and the phrase often is said, gardens under which rivers flow. And so we see that when Muslims reached Persia in the 650, the pre-existing concept of a courtyard garden, which was already used by the Persians, separated into four, was incorporated into the Islamic garden design and thus exported throughout the Muslim world in different variations. And so today we're going to look at these absolutely beautiful gardens. First, we're going to look at the Maiden. This is the Nash-e Jahan in Isfahan, Iran. The Nash-e-Jahan Square is the center of Isfahan. It's a place of great religious, commercial, and horticultural significance. It was built by Shah Abbas, the second of the Safavid dynasty. And in the 17th century, covering over a huge space of 8 hectares. Within the grounds, there is a public imam mosque with an additional private masjid. It's been unchanged mostly since its inception 500 years ago, and the square is surrounded by shops and workshops. It was once a central location on the Silk Road. In fact, the word paradise comes from the old Persian word paradisa, which means walled garden. So when Islam arrived in Persia, the Arabs absorbed the beauty of the walled garden, and that meeting of cultures, a fusion of calligraphy and Arabic, it then became a framework for paradise gardens throughout the Muslim world. And now we're going on to the Nishaq Bagh. This is in Kashmir. It was built in 1625 by Asaf Khan, and he was the father of Mumtaz, wife of Shah Jahan, for whom the Taj Mahal was built. Along with being Shah Jahan's father-in-law, he was also his Grand Vizier. The terraces of the Nishaq Bagh have evergreen cypress trees representing life, and there's a generous shade that's provided from the chinar. It was planted originally, these trees, in 1600s, and some of these chinars are still surviving with a couple of hundred years to go. So again, both of these trees are native to Iran, so it emphasizes the Mughals' distant Persian ancestry. And there's also a painting in 1642 of the Shah Jahan kneeling on a gold carpet in a garden that is itself on a rug of brilliant lapis, and is decorated with brightly coloured flowers and water tumbling down a chadar. And on either side, there's a small rectangular beds filled with flowers. And this garden depicting the Shah Jahan is in fact the Nishaq Bagh. Now we're going to go on to Le Jardin Secret, which is in Marrakesh, Morocco. It's hidden within narrow streets. It's a restored garden now open to the public. It was first built in the late 16th century on a small Jewish settlement. However, upon the demise of its final occupant in 1934, it fell into disrepair. In 2030, the owner, Laura Milan, commissioned English designer Tom Stewart Smith, who created 2 separate but linked gardens, the Exotic Garden and the Islamic Garden. When Islam arrived in Morocco in 680 with the Syrian Arabs, it was then what went on in 1756 with largely Berber troops, which are the indigenous Tunisian, Algerians and Moroccans descended from the Atlas Mountains. They went on into Spain. So with the 700-year rule of the Iberian Peninsula, the influence of Morocco permeated much of European cultural life. And there is in fact a phenomenal way that this dry climate gets water. And there's a 900-year-old irrigation system, phenomenal hydroengineering, which brings melted snow from the Atlas Mountains down into the land, and thus we have these beautiful gardens because of that engineering. Now we're finally going to go on to the Shalimar Gardens, Lahore, Pakistan. The Shalimar Bagh are a Mughal garden complex designed as a Persian paradise garden in the height of Mughal cultural zenith during the reign of Shah Jahan. This particular settings were intended to create a representation of an earthly utopia, one where humans coexist in harmony with human nature. Water dominates this extraordinary space, which remains to this day a popular destination for locals and travellers. In 1981, the gardens were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And what we see is that water is considered a blessing in Islam, and the Quran makes reference repeatedly to this element, which connects all of us. The life-giving and cleansing uses give way to a spiritual use of washing away sins, and it functions as a purification and spiritually rejuvenating. This is reflected here in all of the examples of the Paradise Gardens. This is just a small selection of the beautiful gardens that exist throughout the Muslim world. I hope that you've enjoyed looking at these gardens with me today, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Very, very interesting. Some beautiful gardens at sea. I've actually been to the one in Lahore, so thank you very much for sharing that. Now, my next guest here at MACFEST Opening Ceremony 2022 is former executive head teacher and the long-standing supporter of MACFEST. She will introduce MACFEST 2022 educational program for schools and colleges, which runs throughout the month of February and March. Please welcome Patsy Kane, OBE.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome to all the esteemed guests. And I just thank you for asking me to introduce this section. It is something that I felt passionate about from the beginning, and utterly inspired by Kesra's leadership and work and determination to keep this happening, keep it online, and hopefully we'll move to in person. I think we do need to mention that COVID has had a real impact on schools and young people. I'm a trustee of the Co-op Academies Trust, and a lot of young people have experienced stress, isolation, difficulty in connecting with schools through the pandemic, and teachers and head teachers have done a wonderful job. And I think this year more than ever, we value the power of MACFEST to connect young people, to inspire them, and to enrich all of our lives. Really looking forward to listening to the youth panels, and I'd encourage as many of you as possible to join those events, because again, we should never underestimate their power to bounce back, to have ideas, and to hear their optimism and determination about what they'd like to contribute for the future. Really thrilled to see the number of schools growing, the number of colleges, universities, and school children and educational establishments around the world joining MACFEST. This has been a steady growth over the last 4 years. So we've got schools who've been in from the beginning, like Eventune, Whalley Range, Manchester Grammar School, the Manchester Health Academy, and it's grown and grown. We've got a Withington Girls School, the Arabic School, the Bosnian School, Manchester Islamic Girls High School, Loretto College, and then schools beyond Manchester, Newman RC School in Oldham, Hotwood Hall in Rochdale, and then the post-16 institutions have really engaged as well. Marple and Cheadle in Stockport, Manchester College, Trafford College, colleges in Birmingham. And then that ability through the internet to connect and share ideas and experiences. So wonderful to see young people getting engaged in the USA, in Germany, India, Malaysia, the Philippines, Saudi Arabia. There's been and continues to be really unfortunate divisions in society. And I think the power of the arts to connect us, to touch us, to move us and inspire us is more important than ever. So I'm really looking forward to this programme. I've loved what we've seen already this morning. So really so thrilled that so many young people are engaging, sharing their ideas, their hopes, their fears. And I'd really encourage everybody to join some of those youth events and celebrate and support our young people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patsy Kane, OBE, and I completely agree with all of what you said, especially regarding the arts, bringing people together. You know, it's something that's extremely powerful and that we should be using more of. So absolutely agree there. Thank you so much, Patsy Kane, OBE. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the festival's youth and education program, students from across the UK and all over the world will be participating in a special event in 4 special youth festival panels. Meet our international students from India, Germany, USA, and Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Professor Surhaila Latif Yusuf. I will be your youth panel host for the MACFEST 2022. Inshallah, we will all be having fun. I will be excited to host you again, and inshallah, I'll be able to meet you soon. Salam.
Hello from Manchester, UK. This is Dr. Benjamin Eves of Canon Slade Sixth Form. I'm really excited about our student Shazaib taking part in a youth panel for MACFEST Youth Festival. I will see you in February.
Greetings from Malaysia. I, Intan Ayu Irina from Sekolah Tun Fatimah, Johor Bahru, will be taking part in a youth panel for MACFEST Youth Festival. I am looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Hello, Assalamu everyone from Stuttgart in Germany. I'm Malia Mimodowski, and I'm very excited to be taking part in a youth panel for the MACFEST Youth Festival this year. All the best until February.
Hello from India, I am Monis Nabi and I am looking forward to take part in MACFEST Youth Festival. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Hello from Lanao, Philippines. I am Muhammad Tuali Yusuf and I am looking forward to taking part in a youth panel for MACFEST Youth Festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic to hear from them as well. And we look forward to seeing the youth festival in the coming months. Now, next, ladies and gentlemen, we have our entertainment from the fantastic Hamza Bouzar, a famous Moroccan singer. Thank you, Hamza, for joining us live from Birmingham. I believe we'll be seeing a video as well. Take it away, Hamza.
I'm really happy to be with you in MACFEST in this opening day. Inshallah, we'll try to make some qasaid from the Arabic and the Moroccan traditional Islamic nasheeds. I hope you like it, inshallah.
محمد عين وجود الله اللهم صل
ركب البراق محمد عين الوجود طه اللهم صل عليه ركب البراق محمد عين الوجود طه اللهم صل عليه ركب البراق محمد عين الوجود طه قمر سيدنا النبي قمر وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل قمر قمر سيدنا النبي قمر وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل وكف المصطفى كالورد ينادي الله وعمر يبقى إذا نست آياتي الله وكف المصطفى كالورد ينادي الله وعمر يبقى إذا نست آياتي الله عم نوالها كل العباد وعم نوالها كل العباد وعم نوالها كل العباد حبيب الله يا خير البرايا قمر سيدنا النبي قمر وجميل وجميل سيدنا النبي Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much. Absolutely beautiful there from Hamza. Inshallah, we'll move on to our final act. And we are absolutely delighted to showcase all the way from Sri Lanka, Muslim Choral Ensemble. Thank you to Dr. Andre's sister, Hadia, Sajida, and your team for joining us all the way from Colombo. Dr. Andre, would you like to introduce your choir? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you can hear me.
We can.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am actually not in Sri Lanka, as may be obvious. I'm in Boston, in the United States. I want to greet all of you. Assalamu alaikum, distinguished guests, esteemed sponsors, and particularly to Sister Kaisra Shahraz for welcoming us to this wonderful event. On behalf of the co-founder of the Muslim Choral Ensemble, I welcome you all, and also on behalf of our Associate Artistic Director, Manoj, who's involved in the preparation of this video, which I'm going to show you in a moment. The Muslim Choral Ensemble is dedicated to the same mission that all of us are engaged on this wonderful project here, to bring Muslim arts and culture to the world, to bridge differences and to build understandings. And we are very delighted to be part of this wonderful MACFEST of 2022. We hope that this collaboration will be the first of many, many such collaborations. And we are happy to represent a minority Muslim community in Sri Lanka as part of this event. We're going to perform 3 devotional Islamic songs. The first is Cameroon, in praise of the Prophet Muhammad, praise be unto him. comparing his radiance to that of the moon. The second one is Lakhon Salam, bestowing blessings and greetings upon the Prophet. And the third is Salawat. And in this is a very special piece, because on the one hand we say blessings upon the descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, but we also, in this piece, we fuse it with the Dona Nobis Pacem, which is a Western piece, to say give us peace. Then fusing these two pieces, we are saying to all of us that for us peace is important. Peace is central to our mission. So with those few words, I'm very, very delighted to invite you to show the video and to be part of this very, very wonderful event. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. The Muslim Choral Ensemble Sri Lanka, along with our co-founders, Mrs. Hadia Galele and Professor Andre de Quadros, as well as our Associate Artistic Director and Vocal Coach, Mr. Manoj Sanjeeva, are delighted to be invited to participate in the opening ceremony of MACFEST 2022. We hope that this will be the first of many such collaborations. Today, we are going to perform for you 3 devotional Islamic songs. The first is entitled Qamarun, which is a song in praise of the Prophet Muhammad, comparing him to the radiance of the moon. The second is an Arabic and Urdu song called Lakho Salam, again bestowing blessings and greetings upon the Prophet Muhammad. And finally, again in praise of the Prophet Muhammad, Salawat, combined with the Latin verse Dona Nobis. We hope you will enjoy our performance.
محمد نبينا بنور ودينا من مكة حبيبي نور سطع المدينة من صلى صلاته رد حل شفاته يا محد اللي في دلوما تشفى في مماته صلي على محمد السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا رسول الله يا رسول السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله يا رسول الله صلي على النبي وتبسم النبي تبسم وتبسم النبي تبسم اللهم صلي عليه قلب المطيع يوم كلما صلى عليه كاسر دما ذاق السعادة مغرما يا سيدي يا محمد قمرون قمرون سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل وجميل سيدنا النبي وجميل وكف المصطفى كالورد نادي الله الله وعطر حبك إذا مست أيادي الله الله وكف المصطفى كالورد نادي الله الله وعطر حبك إذا مست أيادي الله الله उसके खुतबे की रहमत में लाखों सलाम मुस्तफा जाने रहमत लाखों सलाम अस्सलाम या रहमतल लिल आलमीन अस्सलाम इस सब्ज़ गुंबद के मतीन या इलाही वास्ता ज़िक्र रसूल ये सलाम आजिज़ाना वो Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad Allahumma salli
Wow, truly incredible that, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Fantastic, really fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Andre, and of course, the choral ensemble all the way from Colombo in Sri Lanka. Before we go, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Kesra and her team at MACFEST for having me, and of course, for putting on such a fantastic event. Thank you to all the guest speakers, everyone who joined and watched and came together to enjoy MACFEST 2022 opening ceremony. Until next time, goodbye and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.